How RockShox looked at simple cable shifters and thought, hey, you know what this needs? Hydraulics is well beyond me. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we are going to be installing a RockShox XLOC remote to a Monarch XX shock. We just finished fully servicing this shock, and now it's time to connect the remote to it in order to be able to make it actuate between open and closed positions. Not a hard job. You can absolutely do this. If you own one of these shocks, you're going to have to do it, and you might actually have to do it throughout the year, depending on, how solid the remote system is, because air can't get inside, and when air gets inside, the trigger ends up becoming squishy, and then it just doesn't work as it should. All right, so with that being said, let's get into the tools and parts needed for the job. As for tools and parts, SRAM does sell a bleed kit, part number 00.4318.007.001. It comes with a couple of syringes that come with standard M5 SRAM bleed adapters that are used on their brakes. It comes with a tool over here, T10 on one side for the bleed screws, a T25 to connect the remote to the handlebar, and some reverb oil, which is 2.5 oil. If you live in warm environments all year round, you can get away with 5 weight, but 2.5 weight if you live in cold environments, I think you're better off. You don't have to buy this kit if you already have these adapters and some oil. You just make sure to remove any dot fluid from the syringe in order to make sure you don't mix dot fluid with regular oil, okay? We're gonna need an 8mm wrench in order to crush the olive. And speaking of olives, in my case, I don't have an olive and a barb, right? So these are just regular SRAM olives and barbs. You could use any barb, really. The SRAM barb uses a T8 Torx wrench to screw it into the cable. And that's pretty much it. Let's start connecting this remote. First, let's start off with prepping our syringes. What we are gonna do is we're gonna take our syringe, we're gonna put it in, suck in a little bit of oil. We do not need much oil over here, okay? That is literally more than enough. So suck the syringe down, get rid of all the air in there, then grab a piece of paper towel, put it on top, and force the air out of the syringe. Make sure it comes all the way to the top, and repeat the same to the other side. Next, we prep the cable, in my case at least. In your case, chances are you already have the cap, the cover, and the banjo over here already installed on your cable with your barb and olive. You might have to change your olive depending on what kind of condition it's in. If it's too crushed and it doesn't get a good seal, you might have to change it. But at a minimum, I'm gonna need to remove these two parts from the shock. First, I'm gonna put in the cover on the cable, just like that. And then I'm gonna put the banjo just like that, okay? Threads facing the end, right? And then I'm gonna put in my barb. Now this is a SRAM barb, it screws in. Actually, before I put the barb in, let's make sure that the olive fits in without issues, because when it's used, the barb expands the cable. Okay, it definitely fits in, although that's a pretty tight fit, and my guess it's gonna get a little bit tighter. Let me do that again. Eesh. Okay, it's going to get a little bit tighter because this is going to expand that hose a bit. So we're going to take it, and again, you could use any barb. The nice thing about the SRAM barbs is that they screw in pretty easily with a T8 Torx bit, right? So let's just take it, screw it all the way down. Just like that. I'm nearly at the end. There we go. I'm at the end. Let's bring it out a little bit. Then we're going to take the hollowed out part, the threads face up, right? And the hollowed out goes in. There we go. And then we're going to turn this counterclockwise this way until it reaches the base. Again, it might be stiff trying to get over that cable. Am I making it through? I can't tell. Anyway. Yeah, screw it in. And do it this way. Ooh, definitely feeling tight. Yeah, it's definitely screwing in. So just screw it in, might take some force, but it'll make it and basically bring it down to the end. Let's make sure the inside is tightened all the way. Okay, one more time. There we go. And let's tighten this one. So the barb goes clockwise, the olive goes counterclockwise, right? To screw in. There we go. And we are flush and we are prepped. Before we bleed, we need to connect it. But first, let's take the gate over here, this barrel, and there's an arrow on it. Turn it all the way towards the arrowhead, okay? All the way in. Until it ends right there. Then we're going to grab our hose. Okay, screw this in. Then we're going to take our 8mm, screw it down to about 5 Newton meters actually, but until it's nice and snug. I'm not going to over crush it because I'm going to take this apart, so that should be more than good enough for now. And then if you want, what you can do, actually I'm going to leave it open just to inspect if there's any leaks coming out of it while we bleed it. Now let's bleed. Now I'm going to bleed it on the table over here, but you could pretty much do it anywhere. You could technically do it on the bike if you have room for the syringes too, right? So whatever works best for you, the process is going to be the same, and the process is the same whether it's an XLOC or an XLOC full sprint, whatever they call it, right? So we have our bleed screws. Both of them are T10. So we need to remove the bleed screws. Start off with the shock over here. Take it out, put it on the side. This one's a black one. Take our syringe, screw it all the way down just like that, nice and snug, don't over tighten it. And then over here we already turned our gate all the way open. So now let's take out our bleed screw here. And I should have mentioned that too, I'll mention that in a second. Let's put our syringe on this side. Okay, now make sure your remote is all the way out in the full out position, okay? And now what we're gonna do, the metal one, the steel one is for the adapter, the remote, and again, the black screw is for the shock. So what we're gonna do now is basically, we're gonna push down on one syringe, and as you see, air will come out on the other side, okay? Let's do that all the way down, and then we're going to repeat on this side and bring it out to the remote side. And we're going to go back and forth for a bit. Do this about 3-4 times. Okay. Then what we're going to do, let's press in the shock side. Now we're going to vacuum. Again, vacuum and pressure, folks. It's your best friends when it comes to bleeding anything hydraulic. Now slowly pulse vacuum. See what I mean? Didn't come out when we were going back and forth. We have to agitate bubbles. Slowly pulse vacuum in order to, in fact, the remote's going to go in, right, when we do that. Okay, till we don't see any bubbles. Oh, don't let these bubbles go in, bud, okay? So I have a couple of bubbles left here. Let's make sure they go on top. There we go. Now let's slowly, don't let that bubble go in. Just sort of move it back and forth until that bubble goes all the way to the top without sucking in that bubble now, right? Let that bubble go up. Just pay attention over here. This is actually a quick bleed. All right, that's debris, that's not bubble. Let's go back down, push to the other side. Let's pull back up over here. Again, pulse vacuum. Oop, we had couple more bubbles over there. See, if you just go back and forth by pressure alone, putting pressure, you're not going to get everything, folks. Vacuum is your best friend. When you put pressure, the remote should come out as well, right? So let's go again, back and forth a couple of times. Down, and then do this 3 times till you see no bubbles. And when you see no bubbles, see, there's a bubble. If you see bubbles, just count from scratch again 3 times. Let's push to the other side. Let's make sure this is all screwed down nicely. Okay, pulse vacuum again. Okay, so if you notice over there, no bubbles, right? Let's push down. Do that again. Again, no bubbles. Do that again. Oop, there was one bubble. See what I mean? Just give it your time, folks, because you do not want bubbles in the system. Your remote will be mushy. And we could do it the other way around too if you want, right? Just make sure we're tight. We could vacuum from this side. and nothing. Let's vacuum from this side again. Nothing. Also, I see no leaks anywhere, which is a good sign. That bubble, or is that debris? That's debris. It's like black debris from the inside. Let me try and push it into the syringe. There you go. Okay. Oh, that was a bubble. So again, keep on going back and forth, vacuuming. You can do it on each side, but once you vacuum like 3 times, 5 times if you've never done this before, would be even better for you. And then you know you are done and we go to the next step. I will be back. And I'm back. It only took a couple of minutes, but again, after 3 times going back and forth vacuuming, there was no air bubbles whatsoever. Okay, so now we're ready for the next step. So let's pressurize the system. Press down on both syringes at the same time to make sure that that remote comes all the way out. Okay, so we are fully pressurized. There we go. So what we're going to do is start with the remote bleed screw first. Let's put it on our T10. Let's lift it up higher than that side. Let's remove the screw, the bleed adapter. Okay, and then take a little bit of oil, put a couple of drops in there until there's a mound, just like that. Grab our bleed screw, drop it in there, screw it down until it's nice and finger snug. All right, so once again, let's put pressure into the system. Okay, so now we're going to do the same, but we're going to do it to this side. Let's prep our screw. There we go. And the reason I like doing it like this, because I have more area over here to put fluid to make sure I don't suck in any air. So then let's take our screw, screw it in like that. Okay, finger tight once again. There we go. And if you notice, we had no oil come out of here, so we know we're good. Let's cover that. Next, grab a little alcohol, paper towel, clean any oil off the surfaces. And now we will test it. We're going to test it on the vise. So for starters, when we press the remote trigger in, we should hear a click just like that. So that's a good sign. That tells me it's actuating, right? So when the remote is fully extended, we should be in the lock position. So let's press down, and this should be real hard. So it's not a full lockout. It will sink over time, but that is pretty hard, right? So now if we press the remote in, it should be a lot easier. Yep, oops, don't want to damage anything. But that definitely sinks down much easier. Can't sink it all the way to the bottom because of the air can, but if I go back out again, yep, that is a lot harder. So folks, our trigger is bled. And there you have it, folks. You just finished bleeding your XLOC remote to your RockShox shocks. Again, very easy job. Now, it works for the XLOC and the XLOC Full Sprint, same process. It works for any RockShox shock that has a hydraulic actuation or RockShox fork that has a hydraulic actuation. You could do this job on a table like this, or you could do it on the bike if you have room for the syringes. There's no issues with that. So all that's left now in this case is take it, put it on the bike, go out there and have a blast with your bike again, all right? So folks, if you like this video, click that like button, click that subscribe button to see more videos, click that bell button, in order to get notified when new videos get released. More videos like this are coming. If you want to see a couple of videos right now, those two over there might be of interest. And until the next time, I hope all's well with all of you. We will be talking to you all soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.